Good afternoon, everyone. Before we start our report, let me first introduce myself. My name is Jaya Tiborsio, together with my partner in this report, Miss Catherine Laurelia.
Hello!
To begin with, our topic is all about authentic assessment, and we have this question: why use authentic assessment and developing authentic classroom assessment? So, let's tackle first this question: why use authentic assessment? Okay, so based on my research here, that it stated there that authentic assessment is a valuable approach to evaluating students' learning because it focuses on the real-world applications and meaningful tasks that reflect the actual skills and knowledge that students need to succeed. So, authentic assessment is focusing on developing students' cognitive skills and critical thinking skills because it allows students to explore in the real world context. So, authentic assessment is beneficial in various concepts. Number one, it allows students to demonstrate their understanding and skills in a practical context, and it fosters a deeper connection between classroom learning and its application in the real world. So, it's demonstrate the understanding and skills of the students based on the practical context, and it fosters a better and deeper connection between classroom learning and the application of the knowledge on the real world situation or in practicality, right? Number two, it encourages students to apply critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, and communication skills. Number three, it offers opportunities for students to be involved in projects, research, and collaborative activities that are relevant and reliable. And four, it tailored tasks that can assess diverse needs of the learners. Alright, and number five, it helped teachers to identify areas for improvement and track the progress of the learners. And lastly, number six, benefits of authentic assessment is it addresses students' need and ensure that everyone is on track for progress. Here are some examples of authentic assessment: portfolio, performance task, projects, research, and problem-solving activities. Authentic assessment have two subtopics, which are the principles and the vis-a-vis authentic assessment. So how does principle became a subtopic of authentic assessment? So it became a subtopic of authentic assessment because it acts as a framework for creating assessment that are relevant, engaging, and effective in measuring student learning. It also provides a set of criteria that differentiate authentic assessment from traditional assessment, which are more standardized and improve test.
And my topic at UGA was all about developing authentic classroom assessments. It has two subtopics: framework for authentic assessment and authentic assessment development process. So, I'm going to talk about first the framework for authentic assessment. It has 5-dimensional framework, which is authentic assessment task. The second one is the physical context. The third is the social context. And the fourth is the authentic result or form, and the fifth is authentic criteria. So, the authentic assessment task is a real-world meaningful activity that requires students to apply their knowledge and skills. The second one is the physical context, or virtual. It refers to the actual environment where the assessment task takes place. It could be face-to-face or offline. The third one is the social context. It refers to the interactions and collaborations that occur during the assessment. It considers how students work together, communicate, and interact. The fourth one is the authentic result or form. Refers to the product or performance that students create to demonstrate their learning, like a presentation, a project, a written report, or a performance. The last one is authentic criteria, are the standards used to evaluate an assessment task that are based on real-world expectations and professional standards. And the last subtopic is the authentic assessment development process. It has 4 steps. The first step is to identify standards, also known as learning objectives. You want your students to achieve these standards, serves as the foundation for designing assessment that accurately measures student performance. The second step is task development. Once you have identified the standards, you need to develop tasks that align with those standards. These tasks should provide students with opportunities to demonstrate their understanding and mastery. And the third step is criteria identification. After developing tasks, it is essential to identify the criteria for evaluating student performance on those tasks. These criteria outline the specific characteristics or elements of good performance that indicate students have met the standards. And the last step is the final step, which is creating a rubric. Based on the identified criteria, the rubric outlines different levels of performance for each criterion, allowing for a nuanced assessment that distinguishes between varying degrees of students' achievement. Rubrics provide valuable feedback to students and help teachers make informed decisions about students' progress and instructional next steps.
And that's all for our report. Thank you so much for listening.